The next core set in the TCG is Phantom Nightmare. Phantom Nightmare is a new set releasing on February 2nd in the TCG, and it includes support for decks like Aroma, Illusions, Voiceless Voice, which is a new deck, Horus, Yubel, Mage, Specter, and of course a lot of new Diabellstar and Snake Eye support. So should you even buy this set? Let's talk about it in this video, but if you want to already pre-order boxes of the set, because this set is going to be extremely hype, head over to tier0games.com. The link is in the description below. Use code GALZO5 on your boxes or cases. And of course, stick around here in the community tab or on Twitter. Follow me there to know when the singles go live for pre-sale. Let's discuss. And the first thing I want to talk about is new Aroma support. Now, we had some limitations here in the TCG for the plant deck. We're actually getting Uno reversed because plants are getting really good support. So Aroma is getting a lot of new cards, a level 1 main deck monster that is a really good extender and searcher, and basically it adds additional combo pieces to the strategy. And the main way you're going to use these new monsters is to gain life points, because these cards just gain life points whenever you want. So combining these really good extenders with the Rika engine, and of course the Aroma Seraphie Jasmine, which is a soft once per turn, this is basically what the new support does. It gains life points several times throughout the turn, meaning you can trigger your Aroma Seraphie Jasmine to search a lot of plant monsters to the hand. We're also getting some new illusion support in the form of a normal monster, finally, another flip monster of all things, and another monster that might actually be playable, Envoy of Wax Manor. So Envoy is relatively cool. It might actually be a one-of searchable hand trap in the Chimera deck, and it special summons if you are being attacked. So during the battle phase, if an attack is declared on you by your opponent, you can special summon it to the field. It cannot be destroyed by battle, so it will probably survive this battle phase because it's an illusion monster. And then if it does survive at the end of the battle phase, all your opponent's attack position monsters actually turn into wax statues, which is really good. They cannot change their battle position, and that cannot be used for Link, Fusion, Synchro, or Xyz. Voiceless Voice. This is the new TCG name for the Silent Force archetype. I actually kind of like Silent Force, but we'll get to that later. This is a retrain of some other cards we already had in the TCG. So of course, Skull Guardian and Novox's Prayer were really old ritual cards from Tournament Pack, now turned into Novox, which is kind of like a one-card searcher and the main card of the deck. And of course, the new Skull Guardian, which is a new ritual Omni-Negate on the field while you control a Novox. But it also retrains Saphira and Saravis, you know, the ritual monsters of the olden days, now in effect monster form. Now, Novox, what it can do is place a Silent Force continuous spell and trap on the field, or a Voiceless Voice continuous spell and trap on the field, and that card will probably be Voiceless Voice Barrier, that actually provides targeting protection for your light monsters and also protects Novox from being targeted for attack. So basically keeping your field sort of like on lockdown. And since this deck doesn't really need an extra deck, you can play a Dogmatica engine in it, and it's really strong on its own just because of the control aspect and having an Omni-Negate on top of it. Horus is actually getting 2 new support cards now. There's a new field spell that is also called King Sarcophagus while on the field. It can actually add a Horus monster from the deck by sending cards from the hand. And then there's another Horus the Black Flame Dragon retrain in Horus the Black Flame Deity. Now it can reveal itself if you control a Horus and a King Sarcophagus, then send a card on the field to the graveyard. So it's kind of like an Eldritch in the hand. And if any Horus or Sarcophagus cards, like the King Sarcophagus, the field spell, and of course any Horus monster, if they leave the field, you can special summon it from the hand and send every other card on the field to the graveyard. Pretty strong. Yubel is the main cover card in the set, a legendary GX monster that introduced us Super Polymerization, and it's getting really cool support in retrains. Now, it's getting a lot of flavor and a lot of retrains for old cards like the new Samsara Lotus and the new Grinder Golem. Grinder Golem still being on the ban list and Samsara Lotus actually being released from the ban list relatively recently. And of course, Yubel itself, which is getting a new Spirit of Neos retrain on its own artwork. They don't really have any good effects or notable things, but the cover card, which is Yubel das Ewig Liebe Wachter, is a pretty crazy Super Polymerization target because it can be summoned using Yubel in any other number of effect monsters. So essentially, if your opponent has 5 effect monsters on the field and you manage to summon a Yubel or a Yubel monster to the field, super poly with their entire board, and it's just gone. Mage Specter is getting a new effect monster and a new link too, which is kind of broken. It can add 2 Mage Specters from the deck to the hand, but it does lock you into Mage Specters. But still, it can create some crazy boards using a lot of extension, a 1-card combo in Banbuku, and it can pretty much set 3 back row in addition to your 2 pendulum scales, and do a lot of crazy shenanigans because those Mage Specter back row cards are really, really nice. So this is not a Snake Eye archetype. Now we're getting sort of like the Tri-Brigade or Springans to the Albaz lore. It's a rank 3 Xyz archetype that revolves around attaching and detaching materials, actually very similar to the Springans archetype as well, which it did back in the day, but maybe a little bit better. Now, the first secret rare of the set in the TCG that was revealed is Goblin Biker Grand Entrance, which is a pretty solid card. It can detach a material from any monster on the field. So essentially, you can actually detach from Expertly Noir on your opponent's side of the field because it doesn't affect the monster, it affects the materials. So you detach a card, then you add a Goblin monster from the deck to your hand, and then you can special summon that monster or a level 4 or lower Goblin monster from the hand if you detach the material. And it also, on the same turn, can have a second effect in the graveyard, which you can banish itself from the grave, detach another material from a monster on the field, and add a Goblin from the graveyard to the hand. Pretty broken. Now, the Snake Eye archetype and the Diabellstar archetype continuing to get a lot of really, really good support in the form of probably the more popular card in the set, Snake Eye's Populace. Now, this card is just insane. Don't need to tell you all about it, but if you want to know, this card basically runs the OCG right now. It's of course a level 1 fire that when added to the hand can special summon itself. When it's summoned, it can search Sinful Spoils spell and trap directly from the deck to the hand, and if it's sent to the graveyard, you can place it in the spell and trap zone as a continuous spell, and that means it creates really, really strong 1-card combos with this card. And of course, the card called Bonfire, released in Maze of Millennia, I also made a video about that, go check it out, adds it to the hand, which means you can then special summon it by its own effect, get a free material for the original Sinful Spoil Snake Eye, and just combo on from there. Now, a few other notable cards released in this set. Of course, Promethean Princess Bestower of Flames. This is the playmat of the actual regional season for this set starting in February, and this is a Link 3 fire monster that does lock you into fires while it's on the field, but it also special summons a fire monster from the graveyard completely for free. And if it's in the graveyard, if your opponent special summons, you can target 1 card you control, 1 target they control, special summon back the princess, and then pop those 2 cards. Combined with the Ambler Whale Swarm Ship, this card becomes extremely busted as a 2 interruption 1 card Link 3. Now, this is a card that is close to my heart. Aluber is actually back in the form of a trap card featuring the mask and the throne of the new branded king. This is Rumpelteufel, or the Laughing Goat. On the field, you can declare a monster card name as cost, and neither player can special summon monsters with that original name for the rest of the turn, except from the graveyard. But if it's in the graveyard, and this is of course relating to transaction rollback and the ability to just mill cards and throw cards from your hand in Labyrinth. With the Furnitures, you can banish it and declare 1 monster card name, and neither player can activate the effects of that monster on the field with that original name for the rest of the turn. This is a pretty strong floodgate. You can actually just call the best starter or extender in your opponent's deck, their boss monster, and it's going to be negated for the rest of the turn. This is super versatile, really, really easy to proc in a lot of different decks that can just send it to the graveyard, or of course set trap cards from the deck. This is seeing a lot of success in the OCG right now, and it's kind of scary. Another really cool standalone card is Back Mutation. So Back Mutation can tribute a fusion or synchro monster as cost and special summon 1 monster with the same original level from your deck, but return it to the hand during the end phase, and you can only activate it once per turn. So again, not searchable unless they change the name, but a really, really crazy card, especially in the form of Runics. Think about it, you have Runic level 9s, level 4s, level 3s, and level 2s. You can just special summon them for free, tribute with Back Mutation, a Hugin for example, and just special summon a Sprite Blue from your deck. So Phantom Nightmare, it's going to be a wild set. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think about the set? Which cards are actually worth getting? And answer the age-old question, should you buy Phantom Nightmare? If you decide that the answer is yes, head over to tier0games.com and use code GALZO5 at checkout. The link is going to be in the description below. Also, don't forget to follow me here in the community tab, join our Discord, head over to Twitter because I will announce when the singles go live for pre-order. Thank you so much for watching. leave a like, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.